Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz, and this is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. But, as we all know, the season is over, so none of that will be going on. But we do have some great news. We finally got him. Yeah, that's right, man. Demeco Ryans is coming back home. The Texans have hired the former San Francisco 49er defensive coordinator as our new head coach. It has been a long journey. Well, probably not too long, but the worry and anticipation of just getting him back this time of year, this coaching carousel time, this coaching carousel round, it has been a lot, to be honest with you. And you know what I'm saying? It feels good, like just going on the Twitter and seeing some news about the Texans, and it's actually good. Like just seeing the excitement from everybody, the fans, all that. So let me just go ahead and get right into just kind of breaking this down, man. So yeah, Demeco Ryans, former Houston Texan, drafted in 2006, played his first 6 years here. Um, and then you know what I'm saying, went on to other pastures and whatnot. Um, you know when the candidates started getting announced about who would potentially come in here to become the new head coach, his name was one of the ones that was popping up, and he had a hot name just going around for a lot of different jobs. To be honest with you, um, he was kind of linked to the Denver Broncos, and they did some weird stuff today as far as like trying to hire him and before they eventually settled on their coach. But you know what I'm saying? He was like seemed to be just a real just favorite amongst other jobs. In addition to that, he was very much a heavy favorite by the fans coming into this job. So I believe it was him. John. They threw Jonathan Gannon in there for a little bit, and they wanted, and the team wanted Gannon actually last season before they went on to Smith, but excuse me, before they went on to Lovey Smith. Uh, but they this time around it seemed like it was coming down to Demeco Ryans and Sean Payton. So with Sean Payton, there was this whole thing about since he was still kind of under contract with the Saints, with the New Orleans Saints, that there would be some compensation required. We would have to give up like a couple first round picks and all this other stuff just to get Sean Payton on board. That kind of fell through. You know what I'm saying? I think it was the number one. I think it was the picks that really just mm, kind of just tainted it a little bit. Also, there was some weird story about him talking with Fox Sports One host Colin Cowherd, and Cowherd getting on the show the next day to just kind of throw shade at the Texans. So that was just a whole messy situation right then and there. So, however, it seemed like even with the picks and all the other stuff, the Texans still had Texans were kind of just set on like really just bringing in Demeco Ryans, and look, man, we got our guy. That's all that really matters. And this was a good hire for a couple of reasons. And number one, it was always going to be a great hire because the fans they were eager for this, pretty much. The fans that, especially the day one fans that have seen this team go through, tough times, just rooting for all the different players that have stepped on and off that field. It's something that they've been raving about all day. It's something that they've been raving for during this entire process. So congrats and kudos to the fans, the critics, if you, the critics nationwide and local, and the analysts. They seem to love it. It's definitely something that's wonderful. Former teammates, they've been, you know what I'm saying, just been they've been in awe about this thing. JJ Watt, he co-signed bringing in Demeco Ryans. Brian Cushing, I saw something earlier where he was kind of speaking on his experience and playing with Demeco Ryans and all that. Um, Before this, before I shot this video, actually, David Carr, obviously, former number one overall pick for the Texans, first number one overall pick in Texans history, first draft pick in Texans history. He was talking about how his experience when he first met Demeco Ryans, when Demeco came in like '06, and he was just saying like how smart of a football player that Demeco was. He kind of already understood his assignments, where to line up at, and all this other stuff. Um, and so he was, raving about this pick as well. I mean, this hire as well. And so really it's just been, like I said, like I mentioned at the top of this recording, it's been great to just kind of log on wherever you're at, Twitter, Facebook, wherever, and just see people just say great thing, great things about the Texans. Like this is probably bigger than how they talked about our draft last season. This is like Texans really got it right this time. And considering everything that this team has went through, this franchise has done and went through these last couple seasons, it's refreshing to kind of just hear that. Whether it's be on a local platform or on a national stage as well. So, and the last thing, man, this has the potential for a feel good story of turning a former team around. Because this isn't just some guy that came in here maybe 1 or 2 years and then, what I'm saying, he bounced, got cut, traded, or whatever. This is like an actual, you know, Texan great, what I'm saying, a Houston Texans legend, what I'm saying, and that's crazy to say for somebody that's been in a franchise that's only been around for ever so long, but it kind of fits. You know what I'm saying? He has made a huge impact while he was here. And so the potential of him coming back and continuing more greatness and becoming and making and leaving like an even bigger legacy, that's a feel good story. That's a great thing to just kind of keep an eye on right there. So what can he do right now? Now that we got all the we still haven't got all the fanfare out the way. He just got hired today, so um, there's probably a lot more celebrating going on. But what can he do now? So as I mentioned earlier, a lot of people that played with him or whatever, they really, they really just bragged on about like, his how he can inspire a team. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this team kind of needs right now. It's somebody to inspire them to overall to do better. Because there's a lot of young players on this team, and you know what I'm saying. As I said, the last few years, this franchise has been through some things, and those players they've been through those things as well. And you know what I'm saying? It's easy to kind of affect their mental psyche and all that. So um, I think he can inspire them to just kind of do better. You saw what he did with the San Francisco 49ers defense. When they were losing quarterbacks left and right, you know what I'm saying? He still inspired that defense to play at a high level. It was number one against the run. And we'll talk about that later on, but he can inspire them to do better. I do believe he can enhance this defense. Um, one of the so him being a young coordinator, and just really getting all 11 or however many guys week in and week out to just perform at their highest level. um, I think he can really do that with this group. We have some good young pieces, obviously with Petrie at safety, Stingley, if he can become healthy in his second year. I feel like he'll definitely be something. Christian Harris, and, what I'm saying, linebacker, fellow linebacker for Ryans to kind of coach and enhance. So we have some we have some great young talent on the defense. And so he can really enhance it and just kind of coach these guys to be a solid unit. Um, what I will touch on, what else he can do as far as like, uh, let's see, as far as like just this team, is definitely get a coordinator to come focus on this offense. So um, it's good we brought in Demeco Ryans, and I think one of the drawbacks about him that a lot of people kind of lobbied against was, he's a defensive guy. You know what I'm saying? And Our defense, they didn't play all that great, but the main problem was not the defense. A lot of the problems, came from the offense. The offense was just ineffective. The quarterback wasn't playing right, and so we really couldn't get things going in the passing game, which sometimes affected things in the run game. And despite those things affecting the run game, we still had a decent, we still had a great running back, a rookie running back, in Damian Pierce that just really had a great season, and could have had a better season had he not get injured and shut down. So I think what he can do now is just kind of bring in a coordinator to focus on his offense and see what can be fixed and what can't be fixed, and probably just bring his own system. Or create a system that's beneficial to what we have right now on offense. Now, what do I expect of this team? Um, I really expect this team to improve under his leadership and experience. And so I mentioned earlier a little bit about the tough times that this franchise is has been going through, and a lot of the young players that have been going through it with him. So my thing is, this is a guy that came in 2006, and so that was in the middle of pretty much, the Texans still weren't on a level that they used to be. They definitely weren't on their level that they got in the 2010s, where they were winning multiple division championships, multiple division titles. But the thing about that is Demeco is like played through all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like his 6 years, he experienced pretty much all of that. Like he experienced the down times. You know what I'm saying? The rough, just horrible times, you know what I'm saying? The embarrassing losses, all that stuff. He experienced that. But in addition to experiencing the low times, he's also experienced like the transition into, what I'm saying, the Texans getting better, into them ascending into that first division title, into that first playoff berth. So he knows what it's like to be down, but also knows what it's like to get up. You know what I'm saying? So you need a guy like that who can bring that experience and that knowledge on how to get to the next level. Because right now, like I said, this is a young group. You know what I'm saying? They're coming from, traditional standard institutions in college football, and to some extent high school football as well. You know what I'm saying? So they're used to being at the top. You know what I'm saying? They're used to consistent success. For probably about a good like 8 years. You know what I'm saying? While they're young and under 21 and think that they can conquer the world. Now that they're in a league full of grown men that can humble them real quick, they see that it's going to take a little bit more to kind of get to that next level of success that they're probably used to. You know what I'm saying? So he can he can definitely bring that knowledge of what it takes and that leadership to inspire them to get to that next level. So I definitely think that's gonna come in handy to get this team turned around, and that's what I expect for them. Now, going back on the offensive coordinator thing, um, I do realize that they that management kind of recognizes that that's that the offense is an area that they really, really need to work on, and they can't just throw draft picks and free agents at. Like they're going to actually need a system. And considering the fact that they're expecting to draft a young quarterback in this draft, preferably, um, well, yeah, either Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. Um, Considering the fact that they're going there, they're probably going to go after a coordinator that might be QB oriented. I saw that earlier that they were kind of interviewing the Bengals wide receivers coach, and you know what I'm saying, that's fine, whatever. But my guess is that they're going to end up with somebody that's more QB oriented, just so they can develop them and have something a little bit more solidified at that position right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, we gave, we gave Davis Mills his run or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, he did what he did, but now time to turn that page and go somewhere else. So yeah, I think he'll definitely bring in a coordinator that really just kind of knows his thing, and that can just kind of develop a QB, particularly a young QB, obviously, but or maybe they just just relies on just getting in a really high value quarterback coach to do the same, and just let the coordinator just kind of orchestrate the offensive system they just drew up. So uh, that's all I really got on the coaching hire, man. This was one of Demeco was like kind of like one of my picks. Him, I was like, it either came down to him or Peyton, to be honest with you. And so, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad to see that the Texans made the right choice. They made a good, outstanding hire, got the fan base energized after these last couple seasons. So kudos to the team for doing that. So I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.